Anime is popular, more popular worldwide now than it's ever been. But not all anime ranks the same in popularity. There are levels to the litness. Whereas your little brother might hit you with a Rasengan after trying to Kamehameha the family dog, at least he isn't piercing your AT field with a spear of Longinus. From mainstream media all the way down to borderline lost media, we've got a lot to cover here, so let's get started. Level 1. Mainstream media. This is the most self-explanatory level. These are your big dogs, so to say, of the anime world. Anime's so big they're typically just referred to as TV shows. These pieces are known in the mainstream by viewers who are not anime watchers. This category includes the likes of Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and Attack on Titan, to name a few. These are the anime you can watch and still not refer to yourself as an anime fan. For example, I have a friend who is an avid anime hater. He loves to take jabs on it only because he's never seen it. Only for him to bring up his viewing of Attack on Titan in a casual conversation as if it isn't an anime, just for him to go right back to hating on anime. And honestly, the fact that he's seen it still surprises me to this day. Level 2. The Anime Gateways. This next level is the top popularity level amongst the casual / surface level anime fans. These anime are typically the first stepping stones taken to get into the medium. Whereas they might not have the mainstream popularity as the previous category, they do hold their weight with the normies. The anime in this category include Jujutsu Kaisen, Sword Art Online, My Hero Academia, Hunter x Hunter, and One Piece, amongst others. Now I hear a few of you saying, but what the flip, man? One Piece has to be in the top tier. No, it's not. There are many people out there who have only seen Dragon Ball, or only seen Naruto, or like my previous example, only seen Attack on Titan. Of course there are exceptions, but that's just not the case for One Piece. Now before you get all worked up, remember that popularity does not always mean an anime is good. An anime can only have 100 fans and be the best of all time. Your favorite can be on any level of the spectrum and still be a masterpiece. Level 3, the Certified Anime Fan. This is the tier of anime that diverts away from the mainstream. If you watch these anime, you're an anime enjoyer. You're more seasoned than the newbie by this point. You have the mainstream ones under your belt, and you're looking to do more than just dip your toes in. A perfect example of this tier is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Your dad, granted he's back from grabbing the milk, doesn't know what this show is. Your friend Trevor, yes, I'm looking at you Trevor, has written a 7-page essay review on My Anime List about how this is the best piece of media of all time. Some more examples of this level include Mob Psycho, Code Geass, and Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Level 4. High praise but low hype. This is the level where things truly start to get deep. This is the first level where the mainstream is a complete non-factor. Even amongst self-proclaimed anime fans, I wouldn't be surprised if these pieces haven't been watched or even not heard of. No one who is not an active anime watcher will have seen these anime. That's still not to say these anime are unpopular, as they typically have very strong and dedicated fan bases, on top of some of those stray viewers. Examples of this level include Monster, Samurai Champloo, I don't know what it is, Parasite, and Ping Pong the Animation. Level 5. The Cult Classics. With only 3 levels left, we're moving deeper and deeper. This level includes animes with very little widestream recognition, however yet have very strong core fan bases. These are the type of shows you'll hear your 40-year-old coworkers argue are the greatest of all time. While similar to level 4, these works have little to no floater fans. Without personal recommendations, server surfing, or mouse scraping, it's very unlikely you'll come across these anime. That being said, however, these shows are still findable and discussed through said methods. Some anime in this level include The Tatami Galaxy, Perfect Blue, and Welcome to NHK. Now, before we dive deeper here, we need to understand what makes an anime popular. As I said earlier, being popular does not mean an anime is good. However, if an anime is good, it is more likely to be popular. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the more viewers with positive opinions on the show, the more fans there are to spread the enjoyment with those who have yet to see it. From personal recommendations to fan art to discussion boards, the names of those anime will get around. Now, to fully understand popularity, it's imperative we look at the inverse, unpopularity. Given how we are now getting deeper into the unpopular territory with these levels, unpopularity will be more relevant. First off, I want to talk about dubs and subs. Both of these forms of anime listening are popular. If you want to know more, click the card here in the top right. That being said, there are quite a few anime out there that have yet to get a dub and only still have a sub. Don't even get me started on the ones without subs either. All this does is limit the accessibility of these anime, lowering their ceiling of max popularity potential. I know for me personally, I'll pick a dub over a sub 9 out of 10 times. I like being able to look away from my screen while watching. Give me a movie, and I can happily watch the sub, but a whole series, count me out. A perfect example of this is Bocchi the Rock. Despite the lack of a dub, the show has garnered a pretty large fan base. But guess who hasn't watched more than one episode? Me. And there are many like me out there. The lack of a dub has unfortunately put a metaphorical ceiling on this anime's popularity, and many more like it. Another explanation is the story structure of an anime. If a story is very different compared to what viewers are used to watching, it's going to take more convincing to get the masses to give it a try. Shows that are experimental usually take some easing into for viewers to get used to them. A good example of this, and for the video's sake, a more popular example of this, is Steins Gate. Now yes, the first half of the show is fairly traditional, but it sets up the second half where things get freaky. Now I'll stop with Steins Gate to avoid spoilers, but it's a show I would recommend. The inverse of this is an anime like Naruto. This anime follows one of the most basic shonen story structures. With a straightforward main character, a straightforward cast, and a straightforward story, there's little here that'll surprise you. Whereas both of these variations of anime have their core fan bases, the one with the more popular form of story structure is typically going to win out with its ease of understandability compared to the norm. Of course, there are more factors that lead to the popularity, or in this case, unpopularity of an anime, but those were the ones I felt were worth covering before we move on. Level 6, Underground Anime. This level is the start of the end for easier to find anime. This is where things get truly obscure. These are the shows that get absolutely zero floater fans. Now these anime do have core fan bases, but they are weaker than the previously mentioned levels. This is the level where accessibility starts to become an issue. It's highly likely you won't find these shows on your major streaming platforms. Luckily, since the introduction of anime-specific streaming platforms such as Crunchyroll and others, this issue has become way less prevalent, but you will have to do some hoop jumping to access them. This level includes anime such as Paranoia Agent, Now and Then, Here and There, Caster and Sins, and Ao Bungaku. Level 7, The Dark Abyss. This just leaves us with our 7th and final level, what I refer to as the Dark Abyss. This level can go as far down as borderline lost media. Even self-proclaimed anime experts are very likely not to have heard of any of these. If we were talking 20 years ago, I would bet your mom's life savings that you would have zero chance of accessing these shows legally. And I would bet your dad's life savings that you wouldn't even have heard of them. Fast forward to today, and I would bet your life savings that both of those things are still true. Now, I know at least a couple of you watching this just lost your life savings. In the internet age we're in today, there's people curious about the obscure and hidden level, hence you watching this video. Now to scratch your itches, here are some of the deepest, borderline lost media anime I was able to find for this level. This includes Genocyber, Root Search, Hanoka, and Twilight of the Dark Master. Now I know I said level 7 was the final level, but in my research for this video I came across a special group of anime. Unlike all the previous levels, all anime on this one have a very specific top reason for their lack of popularity. This is level 8, the banned anime level. All anime in this tier have been blocked for one reason or another. This means that the distribution of said shows have been blocked by various governments worldwide. Now what would an anime do that's deserving of being banned? Well, there are about 3 main categories that these anime ban reasonings fall into. 2 of those are sexualized content and violent content. These are both pretty self-explanatory given the category titles, and we don't really need to touch them. And we don't really need to touch on them. The more interesting one, however, is for cultural reasons. Whether it's due to religious symbolism, heavy-hitting subjects, or misleading art styles, there's so much that can be covered here. For the sake of this video, I won't go on a tangent, but I'd be happy to make a separate video delving into this topic. Just let me know if you're interested in the comments below. Now, before I tell you the name of a few of these anime, I need to give you a disclaimer. I have not seen any of these, nor do I plan on it, unless I make a video on the topic. And on top of that, there's typically a good reason these shows are banned. Also, these shows usually just aren't good. That's not to say there can't be some diamonds in the rough in this tier, however. Contrary to it being the final level, some examples include Death Note and Attack on Titan both being banned in China, even more anime than that being banned in Saudi Arabia for the stupidest reasons. But I don't have any recommendations for the real hidden anime on this level that you're all here for. And why is that? Well, they just kinda suck. Despite not watching these anime in their entirety like I said, I did do my research and I did watch clips. And yeah, it's nothing I want to promote in this video. Now, this was a hard video to make, and by that, I'm referring to the rankings and how I determined which anime belonged on which level. Popularity is an ever-changing thing. After putting Angel's Egg in the thumbnail as part of the 7th level, it got a 4K remaster movie in which the trailer now has over 1 million views on YouTube. After a few semi-major script changes, I just decided to set it in stone and only fix minor inconsistencies. Now you can argue I should have just used my anime list user rankings for popularity, but I would argue against that. No non-anime watcher has a Mal account. This cuts out level 1 and some of level 2 representation from the highest tiers. I can't be saying these shows are watched by anime doubters if they're hopping on Mal afterwards to leave a review. I would say no one on level 1 even knows what Mal is. All that being said, however, not every anime I mentioned is in the perfect place. I'm sure some of you already have, but feel free to let me know where you would rank the animes I mentioned down below. Tell me about animes I didn't mention. There's definitely some wacky ones out there I missed. Now, before I lose your attention, leave a like, comment, and subscribe please. My goal is to hit 10K subs in 2026, and that's only possible with your support. Thank you so much.